This is our completed spider. This is what we are going to be sewing today. First, we'll be sewing the colored sections together. This is what two look like together, and I just continue on sewing each strip to the last one. So that's the third strip. I'm going to continue on until I get 7 strips. In this next part, I'm going to measure 1 3/4 inch from each side and make a tick mark on the bottom from both sides. Next, we're going to lay our black strips on the very top of this corner to that tick mark. And the same on the other side. And sew that down with a 1/4 inch seam. These strips have been sewn. It's hard to see because it's black on black, but they have been sewn. And now we're going to do some cutting. We're going to cut this section off. This is extra, and this section off with the rotary cutter. So I'm just showing you that I did cut along these edges, and now I'm going to iron these back flat. And I'm showing you all this ironing and cutting because if you cut it the wrong way at the wrong time, then you're going to end up with a messed up project. So now we cut flush across in line with the bottom and the top. For the next part, you place the larger strip on the top, flush with the top, and the bottom strip on the bottom. It's all flush with that, and then sew those on 1/4 inch seam. I'm showing you the sewing here because it just has to go past the top edge. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered to work. We have a little rain going on outside, if you can hear that. On September 5th, 2018. and next we iron those flat, flip those out and iron them, and then we're going to trim. They've been ironed, and now I want to trim this little edge off and that one off and that one and that one. So these have been trimmed off, and this is what it looks like in this stage. And next I wanted to show you, we're going to put this one on this top, and then that one on the top, and then this one on the bottom. And I just wanted to show you in this step how I center these. And you're going to lay it flush against the top. But you can tell it's centered because you, this is my center strip. There's 7, so this one's in the middle. And I'm going to look at this area here, and this area here and here. And those two have to be equal. And then I know it's ready to sew, and that's in the middle. On the bottom one, you know that this is the middle strip again. And so we're going to look at, it's harder to do from the edge, from the side. You're going to look at this area to this area being equal to this area and this area to know that it is centered. And the same thing for the top strip. You'll use these centering, you'll use this center strip to tell you where the center is. And I'm not going to do that yet because I have to do this. Sew these two on, fold it back, iron it, and then sew this one on last. This is what it looks like with all the black strips sewn on. And next what we're going to do is the fusible interfacing spider. And that's the fun part. So when you guys get this, this is my original spider that I drew. But when you guys get it, it'll be in a pattern form. It will already be reversed. But what I have to do is I cut my one-sided fusible interfacing paper out the size of the spider. What I have to do is I have to reverse it. But you guys won't because it'll already be reversed on the regular pattern when I get it done. So I'm going to go up to a window and I'm going to trace that on the paper side. So that's better. And I will iron this for 3 to 4 seconds to temporarily fuse it. Okay, I've got the spider cut out, and I will be showing you the eyes, but this is what he looks like on the back right now. And I just wanted to show you how I do anything that's inside. I just kind of fold it gently and cut a little groove. And then I can cut around. Harder to do on camera than it is sitting down, but so I'm going to do a little more detail work. It's kind of hard to do this in front of the camera. And then same thing on this, you just cut a little slit, with your hands, and cut in, and just make it easier for yourself. It's not that hard to do. I'll be back. That's what he looks like so far. That's what the spider looks like. And now I'm going to take off the paper, which is only partly fused on there. I bend it in one part and it separates. And the glue should stay on the fabric part, and the paper should come off of everything else. Just gently pull it apart. Alright, I like him right there. And now what I have to do is iron, and here's our spider fused onto our lantern. And next we're going to cut the backing, the batting, and put it together and sew it. I know I keep calling this a lantern, but it's really, the pattern is called the Gaslights of Halloween. So I'm going to call it Gaslights now. And now a tailing. Okay. Alright, so what I've done in this section, in this part, is this is my black fabric, another piece of black fabric. I lay it right on top, or right behind the gaslight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the exact size of my gaslight. I'm going to cut the back of it the same size as my gaslight. And you can use rotary cutting, whatever. We're going to get, it's basically using it like a pattern. I've rotary cut as much as I possibly can. It's just basically these four sides. And I just wanted to show you that I use this type of scissors, and this is a Fiskars, for cutting the indentations out. I just find it's easier to do. So I'm just going to keep going around here to cut those little indentions out. So we have our backing and our front side. And next we're going to move that out of the way. Lay down the batting. And you can use rotary cutters again. You're going to cut this the same size, and then we're going to trim it 1/4 inch around, just the batting section. Just showing you again, I rotary cut around these four sides, and I'm going to use these special scissors to cut these little areas out on the side. And I'm having a pretty bad hailstorm, so I hope you can hear me. Next, flip over and go in between the layers. The black is on the back, and cut off 1/4 inch all around of the batting only. Don't cut into your backing. But I like to leave it on there to know that this is where I can see it, that I've cut 1/4 inch off. Next I'll place my Gaslight face up and then just lay this right on top of that. And I'm going to sew 3 sides together, the top, one of the sides, and the bottom, 1/4 inch around the whole side. The next part is turning it out, turning it inside out. And use a skewer with the dull side for the first part. And poke all those corners out gently. And don't forget this bottom small piece. And there's a lot of bunching right here, but we're going to fix that right away. We're sewing 1/4 inch around the outside of these 3 edges, and that will get this bunching down. Now I'm using the pokey end to get a more defined point in my corners. Next, I like to quilt right around the black edge right here, and a couple of stitch in the ditch parts, and then I will just quilt down with free motion the spider part. Before I quilt a little bit in this reddish purple area, I'm going to whip stitch closed our open side. Old-fashioned needle and thread, and you tuck the edges under. and stitch. The edge has been whip stitch closed and this side has been stitched down, and now I have put on hot pink thread, and I'm going to try to do some spider webs and quilting. We'll see how that goes. Here's a close-up of the spiderweb quilting. The completed Gaslights of Halloween spider is shown here. In total, there are 6 Gaslights of Halloween. There's the cat, the spider, which we've just seen, the moon, the tree, and there's a ghost and a pumpkin. And they're shown together here, sewn with a 1-inch organza strip of ribbon on the back. There are other ways to put these together. You can use them as valance. This is another way that you can attach these Gaslights of Halloween together, and that is using a small craft chain. This one is 76 inches long, and I tell you in the directions how to attach it evenly, and it's pretty simple. Here's a close-up, and you just attach it right in to the middle. You sew it with very strong thread right in the middle of the gaslight lantern, and then you let it hang in the front. You could let it hang in the back, but I think it looks cool in the front. And you get a cool Halloween decoration. The Gaslights of Halloween ghost is shown here. And here's the tree. The pumpkin. The moon. And here's the cat.